Okay, guys, welcome to the second part of this coexistence video. In this part, what we're gonna focus on is basically mail flow. I would briefly go over what we did in the last video, which is we set up a domain. I'll jump back in there. So in the last video, we set up and verified this domain here, and then we created a user. We created a user, this user, and which we then migrate the data from Google Apps into this user, and we also uh, verify that here. So the next step we're going to do now is configure coexistence so mail flow can flow between between Office 365 and Google Apps seamlessly. All right, now the first step to the coexistence, so let me go ahead first and go ahead and edit here. And I'll go ahead and copy this address out. All right, and then I'll go back. So the first step in the coexistence is to make sure the mail is actually coming into the Office 365 mailbox also, as well as the Google mailbox. So the first thing we do is we're going to jump into the admin center here in Google. All right, well, actually we're already there. And then we're going to go into this user, the Office 365 user in Google. And we're going to go to Accounts. And down below on the email routing, we're going to go ahead and add that the alias from the Google, so the Office 365 account that we copied over. So let's put that in there. And we're going to take out this route. We're going to leave this option checked. I'm going to go ahead and save. So what this option does is it takes anything that comes into this mailbox, it will forward it to this address, which will it's actually on the Office 365. Now setting up this forwarder in Google means that the mailbox in Google is also going to get the mail and also Office 365. So once we've set that incoming mail, so incoming mail is coming now, the next thing we need to do is set up outgoing mail from Office 365 out into Google. So for that, we're going to jump over here. So actually, we're done with this migration, so we can go ahead and just nuke this one. I say yes. And then while that is going on in the background, we'll jump into mail flow. And we'll go ahead. First thing is to create a new connector. So let's go ahead and do connector. It's going to be from Office 365 to your organization because it's part of your organization now. And then we're going to go ahead and next. We're going to call this Google Apps. And we're going to save only mails from a specific domain. And then we're going to take this domain here. Which is the domain we're working with. And we're going to tell it to where to route any emails for that it receives from that domain. We're just going to send it, have it routed directly to the Google MX record. That should work. I'll tell you what's the downside with this, but I'll tell you that later. But it's the easiest way to do it. Okay, and then go next. And let's just say any certificate. Let's leave it as a trusted CA. Doesn't matter. Google Office 365 does use a valid certificate, so hit on next. And at this point, it's going to ask me for an email address I want to test. I'm just going to go ahead and put in my main admin account. So say admin at Control V. Nope. gmm.o365tech.us. Go ahead and say OK. And go ahead and validate. Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky with the validation. It's most likely going to fail. And this is what I was telling you about using the Google MX record. The MX record is not really a smart host, so it doesn't give any verification back. It will take the mail okay, but it won't say, hey, it won't tell you that, oh yeah, I've received the email. So this verification most likely will fail. Say close. Yep, actually, yep. But what I could come in here, see the connectivity. This is all what I need. See, all here is okay, which means it's actually making the connection and it's actually sending the email. It's just not getting, it failed because it's not getting a validation back from it, which most MX records, all MX records don't give validation. So that should be fine. The email should send okay. So I'm going to go ahead and save. Okay. Now, once that is saved, the next step here is I'm going to go ahead and jump over to, what's it called? To the accepted domain. And I'm going to change this domain here. I'm going to go ahead and change it to an external relay. Let's say save. Perfect. Okay. Now this does sometimes when you change it from an external relay, it does take a few minutes to go through. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test incoming mail flow from two sources. I'm going to test incoming mail flow from an external source to the organization. Then I'm going to test income mail flow from the admin account, which is internal to the organization. So I already have this up here. I'm going to go ahead and create a new email. Oh, it's already there. Test. External. This is from Outlook. I'm going to go ahead and send. Then I'm going to jump into the inbox for my admin account here. Compose. It's the same organization, so it should already be in there. So I'm going to say test. Internal. Go ahead and send. Then I'm going to go ahead and jump on the client machine. There we go. Perfect. So this email here. Oops, what's it's not responding. I don't want to recover the page. Okay, now it's back up. Okay, good. So this email here is from Outlook, and it made it into the organization. This email is from the organization itself in Google, but it still sent it over to Office 365 over here. Perfect. Now we know internal emails are working in a coexistence. Now let's do external. I mean, let's do, so emails are coming in from external and internal. Now let's see if emails are going out the same way. So we'll go ahead and let's reply to the external first. And we're going to say, got it. Then we jump into the internal. Reply all. Say, got it. Okay. So the mails have left here. Let's make sure there's no bounce back. Nothing bouncing back. So let's jump onto my external sources. Perfect. I got the reply. So this is the mail. These two accounts have the same domain, but one is hosted in Office 365, and one is hosted in Google Apps. All right, let's check the external. Perfect, got that too. So we've confirmed CoExistence is working perfectly. Two mailbox, two different users in same domain in different location. Perfect. Now this is just a little tidbit. Unfortunately, Google doesn't have forwarders, or doesn't have mailboxes without license that you can use to forward things. So any user you want here to forward over needs to have a license, except if you use the little workaround that's been going around. I'll briefly go over that with you. So in short, basically you're using groups to fool the system as an email account, and groups are free, so you don't need to get a license for it. So I'll do that quickly and I'll show you how that works. So what you do is, let's say we want a new user over here in Office 365. We're going to call this one let's see, Miranda Black, and M Black is what we're going to call Miranda, and we're going to give Miranda the same GMM. Let's auto generate the password for Miranda, and let's give Miranda another E3 license. Okay, we're going to just copy that information out from Miranda. And I'm going to go ahead and close. All right, so we have Miranda here. So now what we need to do, since Google holds the whole Google holds the MX record. Actually, I should have shown you that. Let's go to MX Toolbox. And gmm.office365 tech US. Google owns Google is managing the domain and owns the MX record for that. So we have Miranda's mailbox in there, but in order for that mailbox to start receiving any emails, we need to have Google send the mails over. When the mails get into Google, Google has to send it over. So for that, where we're in the admin console here. So we don't want to use a pay for a license here in Google for that Miranda, because the box we're paying already in Office 365. So you go ahead and say you're creating a group. It doesn't matter what's the name of the group. You can say M Black. And here it's what actually matters. You want it to be M Black. Say mails for Miranda. That's the name. And you want to leave it a public. Actually, sorry. Let's go ahead and make it restrictive. No, you don't want to add members to this group. Let's go ahead and say create. And let's go ahead and edit the group. Oops. That's not it. And as you can tell, I'm not so familiar with Google, but okay, I think I did this wrong. So let's delete this group. Yep, let's go ahead and delete the group. I selected the wrong option, and let's go ahead and create a group again. I think I need. This is what I need, a distribution group. Yes. Okay, and I'm going to call it what did I call it before? M black. Let's call it M black again, and M black. Emails for Miranda. And I go ahead and create. Okay, and yep, this is more like it. So what I need to do now is I need to go back into my portal and go to Miranda. Hit on edit. Go email addresses. Then I'm going to copy this one out. I'm going to jump back into Google. Oops, right here. And say, yeah, let's make this address a member. So what happens is that any email that comes in for this Miranda will be sent out to to this user. And while we're on it, let's go back one level. Let's do access. Let's confirm. Okay. View members. Okay. View members of the email address. Let's make sure everything is set. Good. Good. So basically, we're tricking the system. So it's not a straightforward. It's not a straightforward setup. So let's go back. Let's go back. What I'm trying to make sure, because most of the time the groups are locked only to internal users. I just want to make sure that is not the case, so anybody can actually send emails to this group. Okay. Each email has to receive good permission. Okay. Okay, so we have all the setup. Let's see, all emails as they receive them. Okay, I think, let's see here. Decide where replies are sent to. Okay, I think the next step here, these are all our group options. Fortunately, there are a whole bunch of them. Some of them, the way Google does its grouping is a little bit confusing, but I think here is what we need. Permissions, basically who can post to this group. Select users. So basically telling the public, anybody can send to this group. View topics. Okay, and lastly, to join the group, only an invite. Let's save that. And let's see, post permissions. We're not going to be posting anything, so it's not really a posting group, so this can be skipped. We're not moderating anything. Access permission. Good. Yeah, anybody can contact the owner of the group. Okay. Alright. Let's check in general information on the group. We don't want any posting. And directory. Oops, let's go ahead and cancel and let's save that. And then directory. Yeah, we can list that on here. Oops, cancel, let's save it. I'm sorry. No, we don't want to list it in group directory, sorry. Because we don't want people to know it's a group. Control, content. We don't want to do any archiving. And lastly, nope, save. So that should be it for the group. Unfortunately, it's a hideous process. It doesn't make sense, but that's the only way you can get to get an email address in Google Apps without. Let's refresh. Without actually creating a user. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump over to the test here, and then we're going to go ahead and sign out of this one. And then we're going to go ahead and try to log in with Miranda. And let's say Miranda is in the East Coast or Central Time. Either way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and now jump into my external. Say new email. I'm going to send it to Miranda. Let's say first email. Test. And let's see what happens. Ooh. Get a delivery notice. Miranda Black. Does not allow posting through email. So I guess I need to turn the posting through email on. So let's jump back into the group. And where was it? Access permission. Let's go. If I can remember what it was, I can do this faster. Unfortunately, Google, I think this was it. Yep, allow posting by email. Go ahead and save. Yeah, let's go ahead and try this one more time. To Miranda, second email, test. Much better. No bounce back. All right, now let's jump into here. There we go. Now Miranda is receiving emails. Haha. Then we go ahead and reply to from Miranda. Say I got it. Hey, I got it. So that's how you set up an email, a coexistence between Gmail and Office 365. And if you want to create a user without license in Gmail, you have to create it as a group and go through all those settings and make sure they're all set up correctly. Now the last thing I want to do here is when you're setting up emails in as a coexistence Office 365, you also want to make sure you set the Autodiscover record so it can be set up using Outlook. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and cover now. So if I jump back here. And let's see, I'll go ahead and close this one. What am I looking for? Go ahead and do, I think this is it, MX Toolbox. Yep. So MX Toolbox, I'll do auto discover dot, and I'll look for the DNS lookup, and then I'll do a search. So there's no discover record. There's no discover record there. So what I'll do is I'll contact my DNS provider and say, hey, I need a CNAME added for the discover record for GMM, and I want it to point to autodiscover.outlook.com. Discover.outlook.com. So can you add that for me? He said, oh yeah, we can do that right away. And they go ahead and do that. And if I do another lookup here, bam. Now I have an auto discover record, and now I can now set up Outlook on the coexistent box. So I jump back here, and I'll close this one, and I'll go ahead and bring up Outlook. Now say I want a new mailbox. This will be Office 365 GMM. Say OK. And basically what I want to fill in there is I could do Miranda, but basically this is what I want. Go ahead and put this guy in there and put in the password. Hit on next. And then let Outlook use the Autodiscover to configure the mailbox for me, which should be just a few minutes. And hit on finish. Hit on OK. All right, and so the mailbox is configured. just fine. It's updating everything up to date. I have all the latest email. And the last point I want to make here, let's see here. Let's do a refresh. The second email came through here. The reason why I didn't stay long on it, because when it's writing through Google, it does take a while, and I didn't want to wait for it, but it's now in there. So basically, that's how you set up a CoExistence. So I'll just briefly go over what we did. We set up folders on Google App, and then we set up a send connector on the Office 365, and then we changed that domain to be an external relay in Office 365, which should basically allow incoming and outgoing mails in the CoExistence environment. And we confirmed that internal and external mails are working fine. Then we set up a workaround for Miranda's mailbox, because we didn't want to pay for license on Google Apps or Miranda, but we still want a mailbox on Office 365, so we set up the group workaround. And lastly, we updated the Autodiscover records so that any mailbox that is in Office 365 we'll be able to configure Outlook using the Autodiscover or Autodiscovery. That's about all I have for today. You guys have a good day.